the industry is missing out on one of the hottest street lit authors doing it. See, there's a lot of dudes out there saying they doing it. This man just came home. But
I gave the system over 12 years of my life, for trafficking, drug trafficking, so on and so forth. And what I did was I utilized my time. I landed a publishing deal from in prison. It doesn't take prison to validate your street credibility. I'm not proud of where I come from, but I'm not ashamed either. I fell victim to the things that was going on in my community. I learned my lesson. I flipped it around. And what I did was Down in the Dirty was available. It was nominated for an award before I even came home from prison. It was in all major bookstores before I came home. I came home, I took it to another level. I reached out to a childhood friend. We started our own company. My Mans and Them is a book dealing with how when you're in the streets, your mans and them aren't your friends at all. This brother went to prison, he learns his lesson, he come home, and it's his woman that does everything in her power to keep him out of the streets, while it's his mans and them that try to do everything to pull him back in.
So why do you call it street lit versus just regular literature?
Well, actually, they put us in categories, and we ran with it. If you go into Barnes & Nobles, my books are in Barnes & Nobles, Borders, Waldens. When you go in, you won't find us in the fiction section. You'll find us in the African-American fiction section. Then it'll say poetry. Then it'll say urban lit. Then it'll say drama. So we ran with that. We had the ability and the power and the authority to change that. But it's division amongst us as a people. You can see it today. This is the Harlem Book Fair, a monumental and a historical event. But there's division amongst us. You have some of our people that'll walk past and say, I don't read that type of lit. What type of lit? It's about us. You might not have grew up in the hood, but you have brothers and sisters that are from the hood. It's reality.
I want to say that I think it's a fantastic idea that you've written these books and that you've categorized it street lit, because what it actually does is it seems like you're appealing to get young black men or young black kids to read, period. So you're speaking to them, would you say you're speaking to them in the voice that they speak?
If a youth looks at me, they say, oh, that brother right there come from where I come from. He sounds how I sound. So instantly they open their mind. But if I go in like this and say, oh, don't do this, say no to drugs, they're not going to be receptive because they think that I don't understand because I don't have a Coogee on or the Capri jeans or the white on white Air Force Ones or some Timberlands or whatever. So whatever it takes for me to reach the youth, to save the youth, then I'm all for it.
What was the appeal for you?
I read the novel and it was phenomenal. I was hooked by the first 3 chapters. I knew that I wanted to sign him immediately, and I wanted the opportunity to give him a chance to not go back to the lifestyle that he was accustomed to. And he's doing extremely well on his own.
So how do you feel about the notion that black men, or just most black people in general, young black men, don't read? And now you have this incredible author who's written 2 books and has a 3rd one on the way. This is obviously, he's dismissing that notion. How can we get more men to write and read?
Well, the notion that we don't write and read is not true. I say this because I receive several orders per week, on average about 40 from prisons. So black men do read. Not only prisons, but just men in general. And the books are going. So they've been saying for years that we don't read. In 2001, we spent $320 million on books. And that's books just in the stores, not counting the books that are sold on the streets, which is a couple million more dollars that they're not accounting for. So the notion that we don't read is untrue.
This is Adrienne at the Harlem Book Fair.
This is hip-hop fiction at its best.